You, Lord, you are worthy. No one can worship you for me. Thanks for joining me. Welcome on board, everyone. Welcome to our episode 13 of my journey from courtship to life after honeymoon. Welcome on board. Receive my worship, all of my worship. Please share the broadcast with your friends. Today's topic is a very interesting one, so invite your friends to join in. Share the broadcast on your timeline so we can reach as many people as possible. Thank you. My worship. Apologies for not broadcasting for the last 1 month. I've been busy trying to get our long fast together. So those of you who have been following the fasting, it started from October, 1st October. Today is the day 20 of the fast. And I've been broadcasting from the Single with a Live page rather than here. So apologies for keeping you waiting for the remaining episodes. I'll make it up to you. And I hope if you are married, you are taking part in the fasting as well. All the prayer points are on the Facebook page. And the theme is breakout. Our scriptures, the foundational scripture is Psalm 124 verse 7. So I hope you are breaking out aggressively. You are not ready for anything to be hindered or broken or missing. You're taking back all that belongs to you. If you have any testimonies from the fasting so far, please feel free to share them with me. Also, this episode, I'm hoping to do up to episode 15. So that means that after this, we would have 2 more to go. The last one, I'm hoping to do questions and answers. So if you've got any questions, maybe there's something I said in the broadcast that you don't think is correct or you want more understanding on, you can let me know because I'm still learning. And then hopefully I can also answer some of the questions that you have. If there are any particular areas that you thought I could have shed more light on that I didn't, please let me know. If you are preparing for your marriage, you are single or you've just got married, and maybe there's something that you want to clarify your mind on, please let me know so that in my last episode, I can address every question that you have. Okay, so please feel free to send them to me. I'll really appreciate it. So that means in 1 month's time, we'll be finishing this topic. And then hopefully, I'll let you know the next plan. Always worship you. I can see all of my top fans coming on board. God bless you guys. Facebook tells me which people are my best fans. Those who are always on the page. So God bless you guys. I really appreciate your belief in the vision. All of my worship. If you have missed the beginning up to now, you've got a long way to go. Please do your best to watch them. One of the things that happens is most of the time, even though I plan, when I come to sit here, some of the things I say, it was not planned. Okay, so anytime I finish the broadcast, I sit back and watch it before I sleep so that I can also learn, because sometimes the things I say are by inspiration, so I learn from myself, okay? And then where I made mistakes, I just beat myself. Oh, you shouldn't have said this. Oh, you made a mistake. There are places that, I'm supposed to say she and I will say he, and vice versa. So that's one of the things about live broadcasts. You can't really edit anything out. So today, the topic is how to handle handling in-laws. I believe we all know in-laws. And I'm still waiting to see if you guys will comment, because I want to know your thoughts. When you think about in-laws, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? I'm going to go on my laptop to help me to see your comment quickly. So what comes to your mind when you think about in-laws? What are your experiences with in-laws? Are they good ones? Are they bad ones? You may not be married yet, but you still have in-laws. So what have you seen from your family, from your mother's marriage, your sister's marriage, your brother's marriage? What is your experience about in-laws? Yeah, please share it with us. If you are married, you are even at a better position to be able to share. You can use yourself as an example. No answer is wrong. It's your experience, so please feel free. So there hasn't been anything yet. Okay. Please share something, say something, Swallians. I'll bring my metal cane. Don't keep me waiting. Hannah is watching us. Congratulations, our Swallian. She just got married yesterday. So God bless you. She's one of my top fans. Okay, right. Since you guys are not talking, I'm going to talk. After all, I'm the leader here. Okay. In-laws. Who are in-laws? Okay, so I'm going to read a message from our international WhatsApp group. This is for our singles group. I tried to ask this question there, so some of them commented, but it's not a lot. They are just sharing the experience about in-laws. And one person said, I can tell by what I have heard and seen by describing in-laws as problematic or blessing, especially the mother-in-laws. Okay? And then the other question that I asked was, what are some of the good or bad stories you've heard about in-laws? Said about good in-laws, I also praise my brother's wife parents. They are so caring and supportive from the beginning of their relationship till marriage and after. Likewise, my mother. So her mother is a good in-law. On the other hand, I have experienced my uncle's wife being a thorn in the flesh when they moved to stay with my aunt and husband in the same house. When they were in crisis and was shown kindness, it ended in quarrel, fighting and problems every day of our lives till we grew up. So much that a brother hates her own sister and sees her as a witch and the cause of his problems, when his own wife was his own enemy. Okay, and then there's another person. She said, these are all from Ghana. The Nigerians didn't talk. Okay, Nigerians should actually be the ones to talk, because most of the in-law problems I've heard is Nigerians. So your Nigerians, our Nigerians, please voice out. Somebody said, in-laws. First thing that comes in mind is, how will they be like? Will I be received and loved by them? And will I be able to relate well with them, especially the mother-in-law? The mother-in-laws just scares me. Oh. It looks like mother-in-laws are in trouble. Okay, this is a guy, the third person said, from what I've seen and heard, some in-laws are very annoying and problem causes, and at a point, relationship breakers. Oh. While others are also life makers, advisors, helpers, helpful, etc. 2. Some in-laws are money-minded, and such people, especially the in-laws of the guys, especially, that is, the lady's parents, when you, the man who is their in-law, can't provide anything for them, as time goes on, or maybe at a point, then wahala for you. I've seen an in-law insulting her son-in-law publicly just because the son-in-law traveled to work somewhere and came back home with nothing for her. That's for the mother-in-law. Some also try to help their children-in-law when they fall short. I know of some mother-in-laws who help their children-in-law both financially or where they fall short. Okay. Right, let me go to the group B. No, this is group B, so group A. I think it's the same people that commented. And then this one said, I love the topic for today. I'm not married yet, but I have seen some in-laws and how they can either better a marriage or collapse it. They are really strange people, and how you deal with them determines the success or failure of the marriage. These are singles. My singles, they are so intelligent. So intelligent. No wonder, because they are swallowing, they've been taught right. Okay. And then somebody asked a question. We've got an orientation going on now. So I posted the question on the orientation group too, to get them prepared, because these are some of the things we do on the main group. And there was a question: after marriage, must our in-laws know everything about the marriage concerning any plan which the couple will decide at home? So that's a question I will address later on. Okay, so listening to the various comments that has come in so far, I think people have left a comment on the broadcast as well, so I'm going to try and read through them. Talking about in-laws, first thing that comes in mind, how would they react towards me? Will I be accepted by them? Would they be nice to me? And are they agreeable? Okay. When you say are they agreeable, do you mean to say are they understanding people? Okay, let me use this. Just a minute. Okay, so only one person has commented. Thank you, Otelia. Okay, cool. So listening to the various comments so far, you realize that in-laws can either be good or bad. Okay, they can either be good or bad. But sometimes we don't even realize that we ourselves, we are in-laws. We are in-laws. Everybody is an in-law. Everybody is an in-law. In-laws, you are an in-law. I am an in-law. We are all in-laws. The reason is because it's either you are married to somebody's family, or somebody's family member is married to your family member, and so forth. As long as there is some kind of marriage relationship going on, there is in-laws. Your mother has in-laws. Your father has in-laws. And your mother is an in-law to somebody. Your father is an in-law to someone. The same way you are a sister-in-law to somebody. Somebody is a sister-in-law to you. You are a brother-in-law to somebody. Somebody is a brother-in-law to you. So we are all in-laws. We are all in-laws. So whatever mindset that we have about in-laws, whether it's negative or positive, we should realize that it's the same thing. Whatever you are thinking about the other person is the same thing they may also be thinking about you. Okay, so if the one word that you are using to describe in-laws is problematic, or a witch, or a home wrecker, whatever definition you have for in-laws, you are literally describing yourself. Because you are an in-law as well. Okay, so most of the time when we think about in-laws, we think it seems as if there are some strange people far away somewhere, and we don't realize that it is us. We ourselves, we are in-laws. So I'm going to look at why does it become, for instance, like some of the ladies are talking about they being afraid, not knowing how they are going to be accepted by in-laws and that kind of thing, especially when it comes to ladies. We normally want acceptance. Okay, so at the beginning, we are trying to do everything to please our in-laws, whether we can afford it or we can't afford it. We just do it because we want them to accept us. And then later on, it becomes a problem, because whatever you start, whatever foundation you lay, you should be able to build on that foundation. So if the foundation you've laid at the beginning of the courtship is not the right foundation, if it's a foundation of pretense, it means that you have to continue pretending to lay on that foundation. And those of you who have watched, I think it was the episode 6 or 5, the one about the wedding planning, I actually spoke a lot about how you carry yourself, even during the courtship, when you are going to meet in-laws and that kind of thing. What do you do? How do you carry yourself, the two of you? How do you plan so that you lay the foundation right from the beginning? Because if you don't do it, set the ball rolling well, when you are in the marriage and then you now start changing things, they will say, oh, because he wanted my son, because he wanted my daughter, he was behaving a certain way. Now that he's married to her, she's changed or he's changed. Yeah. So it's very important that, we start right. And I know there are a lot of our singles who are getting married now. Some of us are newly married. And so this topic is very, very important for us all. So the question I put here is, how would you feel if you get to know that your in-laws actually think, or they feel you are a witch, or you are a problem, or they have a very negative mindset about you? How would you feel? How would you feel? And when we look at the various comments that has come in so far, we realize that in-laws can both be good and they can also be bad. But the only reason why most of the time we have very negative connotation when it comes to in-laws is because we have majority of them being on the bad side. Okay, so normally the negatives outweighs the positives. Okay, so that is the reason why most people, immediately they hear in-laws, it's like issues. They start thinking about issues, but all in-laws are not the same. So if you are getting ready to get married, you are preparing yourself, please don't have a mindset that all in-laws are bad, because once you've got a wrong mindset, it affects the way you feel and it affects the way you behave. Okay, so it's very important that from day one, we get our mindsets right, and so that we can avoid anything that is unpleasant in our relationship. Personally, I've had experiences about in-laws. We have a big family, and most of the time, it's actually the ladies. The problem is mostly from the ladies, either the mother-in-law, the sister-in-laws. Most of the time, the males are normally very good. Okay, so if you are married or you're about to get married, maybe where you need to be extra careful is when you are dealing with the ladies. You need to be extra careful, because there is always this thing about ladies, and it's because ladies are very emotional. We are just emotional, and sometimes we can be unreasonable. Okay, unlike males, they can take a lot of nonsense. They can see things, and especially father-in-laws are nice. Okay, brother-in-laws, most of the time, if you meet a father-in-law or a brother-in-law who is really bad, then there's a big issue, because most of the time they are not like that. It's mostly the women who are the problem, and you can see from the comment that came in, most people are scared, even about their mother-in-laws. Okay, right. So when it comes to in-laws, as I said, it's based on, people will give you their understanding of in-laws or the experience, what they think about in-laws based on what they have experienced. Okay, if I want to tell you my experience about in-laws, you wouldn't want to relate to any in-law. That is my experience. There are some people, when they start telling you what they've gone through with in-laws, you'll be so shocked. And there are some too who are very positive when it comes to in-laws. I've got very good brother-in-laws. I mean, my sister's husbands are amazing. Amazing husbands. But on the other hand, you see that the women, there's always one thing or the other. One thing or the other. Okay, so it's a mix. It's a mix. And sometimes when you hear statements coming from people, it's all about the experiences. And experiences are different. They are all different. And you should not make your final judgment based on somebody's experience, because your experience can be different. Okay, some of the things that I've seen with my brother's wives, my sister's husbands, I've not experienced them in my own marriage. So everyone is different. You will have your own experience, okay, when it comes to marriage, when it comes to in-laws. So regardless of what you've seen from your father's marriage or your mother's marriage or siblings' marriage, have a positive mindset and remember that you personally, you are an in-law. Okay. There are some people whose in-laws have been great. They have actually been the pillar for the success of their marriage and in times of adversity. And then even there are some people whose in-laws are their mentors. There are some people, whatever, any great thing they have achieved in life is because of their in-laws. Because they've got God-fearing in-laws, in-laws who understand marriage, who want the well-being of their children, who are happy for their children. They want their children to prosper. And normally, if you meet an in-law who doesn't like you, it can be very tough. Okay, it can be very tough. And then there are some in-laws too. There was a story of a lady. The lady is actually, I think she's still in Swal. She's been having health issues, and she told me how she started, her marriage broke at the age of 32. She got married very early. When she was 32 years, the marriage broke down. And she said that she actually saw her mother-in-law. It's like, Ghana, where people have back gardens and that kind of thing. So she said she woke up very early. She's a prayerful lady. She woke up and then she saw her mother-in-law doing something at the back of the house, something like witchcraft stuff. And immediately she saw the woman. From that day, the woman didn't like her again. She didn't like her because it's almost like you've discovered my secret, and started polluting the man, issues, and the marriage broke. Just like that. So sometimes when you find people who don't like you, it may not just be as physical as you think. There are some people you come into their family, they think because of the anointing you come into the family with, or the fire you came into the family with, or there's something about you that they just cannot stand, they'll try to fight you. Okay, so there are all those experiences. Sometimes it's not just as physical as we think. Some can be spiritual. Okay, so any marriage that you are in, before you go into the marriage, you've got to really, really pray. There's a lady that was sharing about, she wanted to find out what to do because her parents-in-laws don't go to church. So she was thinking, if I should marry this man, what is going to happen to me? They don't believe in God, blah, blah, blah. And, she's made her own decisions so far. Okay, so some of these things, you also have in-laws that my husband was sharing with me about a lady, a couple who I think when they got married, just a few weeks, they started having issues. So the lady went to her mother to complain. And apparently they all went together. They went to their house. And the parents-in-law, when the lady complained, they did not say a word. They told the couple, kneel down. All of you, kneel. They knelt down and they prayed over them. They prayed and cast out whatever want to separate this marriage. We cast it out. They prayed. When they finished praying, you can't afford to be angry anymore now. They left, and that was the end of the issue. That was the end. So these are good in-laws. But if it was some in-laws, that would have been the end of the marriage, because they would have added pepper to the whole thing. Okay, so I'm just trying to let us understand that in-laws can be good and be bad, and also some can be bad. When I was having my hen night, just before my marriage, my wedding, there was a lady, they were just giving advice, and then a lady said to me, oh, as for her, she doesn't relate to her in-laws because, she was just trying to give me that strong advice. And one of the matured ladies, they said, she doesn't need this advice at this time because she hasn't had any experience with in-laws. Her in-laws could be different. You are giving this advice because you've had a terrible experience with in-laws. But when you are advising a fresh couple or somebody who is going to get married, you don't give them that kind of advice, because you don't want to put the wrong mindset into people's mind before they get married. Okay, so if you've been following me very well, there's one thing I've always said, that if anybody gives you any negativity about any aspect of life, if they say singleness is so bad, marriage is so bad, ask them why. What makes it hard? Don't just say, okay, okay, yeah, singleness is bad. Yeah, marriage is terrible. And then you believe, and then you start living your life with that. It's no wisdom. If somebody tells you anything that is bad, ask them, what makes it bad? If there's anything I want you to take from me, that will be that. It will be one of those things. What makes it bad? Question things before you take it on board. Okay, I was having a discussion with a colleague, and she's married for 13 years. And I was asking her, oh, how is marriage? And she said, oh, it's almost like, oh, it's like she's in prison, she's suffering. So I said, what is the problem? You know, because me sometimes when people say that, I find it so strange. I was like, okay, what is the problem? And then he said, in-laws, they are all over in my house, all over. And I said, they are all over because you allow them. No, it's my husband. I said, okay, what happened? So literally they started, they bought a property and they just moved into the property. And 4 in-laws have come to stay in the house for 1 month, for almost 1 month. The children had to give their beds and all of that for them. And the children are also angry. So I said to her, okay, is this what is making the marriage so hard? Because I could have just listened and said, okay, marriage is hard. She said marriage is hard. After all, she's been married for 13 years. I'm only married for 10 months. So 13 years, of course I should listen to her, you know. But I'm not the type that you just say things and I take like that. I have to question it and dig into it, understand. Where are you making the mistake? Where are you doing something wrong that I can correct, or I can correct in my own marriage? Okay, so she was telling me, oh, they've taken over the house. They just walk in anyhow. You know, they come for holiday anyhow they want. And I said, okay, if you are not happy with it, right? She said, yes. Have you spoken to your husband? She said, yes. I said, okay, what is your husband saying? He doesn't, you know, these Nigerians, they don't listen, blah, blah. They don't listen. I said, okay, so the problem is not that marriage is bad. The problem is that your husband doesn't listen. Okay, he doesn't listen. He doesn't get the principle that you want to use for your marriage, or the principle you want to use to handle in-laws. He doesn't believe in that same principle. Okay, so of course there are going to be issues when both of you don't have the same mindset about something, how you want to handle in-laws or how you want to handle any external factors. There is always going to be pressure. So it is not about the marriage itself that is wrong. It's just that there are 2 different people here who don't want to do the same thing together. Okay, so if you're having issues in the marriage, look at where is it coming from. Is it just the marriage, or one person just is trying to be stubborn, or one person doesn't think they should have some privacy? Okay, because sometimes there will be one person in the marriage who probably feels in-laws can walk in at any time. My family can come in at any time, whether it's midnight, whether it is Sunday, Monday, whichever time they want to come. As long as they want to come, they can just walk in. They don't even need invitation. They don't even need to tell me that they are coming. They can just walk in. And then another person is also thinking, before you come, you must give us advance notice so that we prepare for you. We need to invite you before you come. Some people too are like that. So it's just the 2 people. When you are not united in what your expectations are, then there will be issues. Okay. So one of the ways that I'm going to give a few ways that we can handle in-laws, or how I have handled or I'm handling in-laws, and some of the things that I did even at the beginning of the marriage. I've always understood that it's very easy to want to please people. It's very easy to want to pretend so that in-laws will accept you and all of that. But when you are a leader, okay, when you lead people, trust me, it's just a matter of time. It wouldn't take long. You will get to know that you can't please people. If there is anything I've learned from leading SWA all these 5 years, that is what I've learned. You can't please people. And so you should not try to please people. You should not pretend. You know, marriage, just leadership, when it comes to leadership, it's got some similarities when it comes to marriage as well, okay? You have to be emotionally and mentally strong to be able to make some good decisions in your marriage, just like leadership, okay? Because you get to know that people are very interesting. People can be very funny. There are those who want to use you. There are those who want to bully you. There are those who want to control you. There are those who want to take you for nothing. They take you for granted. And then there are those who respect you and those who don't respect you. Regardless of who you are, what you have, they just do not respect you. Okay? And it's the same way when you come into marriage, you realize there are some in-laws who just want to take you for granted. There are some who want to control you. There are some who they despise you. They think you are a child, you are a baby, you are just a baby. There are some who think you don't know what you are doing or you don't know anything. They have to polish you up and that kind of thing. So you will meet all these people. So I've learned these things through leadership even before I got married. So when I got married, the same principles I'm using. First of all, to handle your in-laws, don't forget you are also an in-law, okay? Be yourself. If you are currently courting, you've gone to see the parents, you've gone to see families, they know you now, you've exchanged numbers, or you've just got married, be yourself. That's the first thing you need to do. Don't try to please them. Don't try to be what you are not. Don't try to do what you can't just because you want them to accept you. Because trust me, if somebody doesn't like you, if somebody does not accept you, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you will do that will make them to accept you or like you. You are pretending, they will also pretend with you. Okay? So, be yourself. If there is anything you can't do, they're asking you to do something, I'm very sorry, I'm not able to do this. Okay, sometimes you don't even need to give reasons. I'm not able to do it. If you want to give reasons, you can give reasons. But ultimately, be mentally and emotionally strong to know where to say no and to know where to say yes without feeling bad. Okay, so be yourself. That's the second. The second thing is study your in-laws. The Bible says, watch and pray. So study them prayerfully and watchfully, if there's a word like that. Okay? So literally what I'm trying to say is observe them. Okay? And there's also one thing I've always said. When you are going into anything, whatever you want to do in life, first of all, study that thing. If you are going into ministry, read books about ministry. Follow people who have done ministry. They probably failed and tried and did all things and they are back on their feet. How did they do it? Okay? If you want to go into relationship, read about relationships. If you want to go into marriage, attend marriage seminars. Read about marriage. Every marriage will be different, but there are things that are general to every marriage. Okay? Anything, vision, read about it. Study it before you embark on the journey. Okay? It's the same way. When you go into your marriage, your in-laws, study them. Because some of us, we don't know our in-laws. We think because they are smiling with us, because they are nice, that's it. So we relate to them anyhow. We talk to them anyhow. So by the time you realize there's a clash, because you didn't take your time to study them. Okay, so take your time. Don't please them. Take your time and study them. Especially the ladies, try not to be too emotionally involved because, sometimes because we want them to accept us like, you are doing everything quick. They call you, you are there. They call you even when you are sleeping, you are praying. You see their missed call, you pick it. You see their call, you pick it. You are in a hurry because, hey, they shouldn't have anything bad to say about you. You are a liar. You're a liar. There will always be something that they will say that is not right. Okay, so try not to please them, try to take your time to study them, observe, watch them, how they behave, their belief system, okay, and how they feel about you, or even about their son or their daughter. You will get to know how they feel about you and how they feel about their daughter or their son. You will know. It's just from their comments. So anytime you speak with them, listen attentively. What are they saying? What are the kind of words they use? How do they behave? You know, when they see you, how do you watch? Okay. From this, you can make your decision, and I'll take you down the line of, you know, you would get to know so many things by just observing, you know, how do they feel about their son? How do they feel about their daughter? That will also help you to even know what to tell them about their son or what to tell them about their daughter. Okay. You've got to be very, very smart from that. And then, yeah, from their comments, you get to know things that they pick up on easily, things that they want to control. You know whether they want to control some aspect of your marriage or not. You know. There are some in-laws who will pick on what you wear, especially the ladies. Okay, they'll pick on what you wear, how you do your makeup, you know, your hairstyle. They even the food you eat, the food you cook. They want to. There's some in-laws when they come to your house, they'll go into your fridge. They'll go into your fridge. You know, we've heard so many things. They'll go into your fridge and open the fridge and check what is there. What food have you cooked? They will open the oh, some people are trouble, trust me. They will open the food. Maybe you've got a pot of soup. They will open it. They will use a spoon to stir and see how thick it is, if there's meat in it. And you may be hearing this and you're like, oh, peace. It is true. Some people do it. Some people do it. I watched a movie, a short movie on Facebook. It was this week, beginning of this week. I was just there. I thought, okay, I was a little bit free. But let me go on Facebook and see if I can see some of these short movies that they show. And the woman, the mother-in-law came from the village. When she came, she said she doesn't want any food cooked on the stove or on the cooker. She doesn't want it. She doesn't want any microwaved stuff. She wants them to use coal pot with charcoal to make her food. And the daughter-in-law said, we are in the city. We don't have coal pot here. We don't have charcoal here. How am I going to make this food for you? The mother said, if you don't cook this food with charcoal, then I'm not eating in this house. And the daughter-in-law is also as stubborn as the mother-in-law. And she said, okay, if you won't cook, if you won't eat, fair enough. You can stay hungry because I have food in the fridge. I've cooked every type of food is in the fridge. It is you who is refusing not to eat. So, fair enough. So she went to her room, left her and the son. The son couldn't really say much. And, you know, sometimes this is where the son should have spoken. You know, whichever side the problem is coming from, that person needs to deal with. So if the problem is coming from your family, the lady is coming from your family, you have to put your feet down and literally address the issue. Don't even let your husband get involved, because it will be like, if he doesn't use the right word, then they will say, even when I did this, the husband insulted me. Okay, but if you, the lady, you take charge of the issue, your husband doesn't even need to talk. You deal with it. It's the same way. If it is coming from the man's side, the man, you deal with the issue. Leave your wife out. Let your wife even go to the bedroom somewhere. Leave the two of you, deal with it. So that nobody will stand somewhere and say, the wife insulted me. So this woman did the wahala, and then the son went to the room and said, you know what, please, for the sake of, you know. So the lady said, okay, she will do it. But she still didn't want to do it. So she called a friend of hers. She got some good friends, though. She got some good friends. She called a friend. The friend said, you know, it's not a big deal. That's what she wants. Do it for her. After all, she's not going to be here forever. Okay? So, and when I saw that, okay, married people, we all need good friends around us. Because seriously, if she had spoken to a friend who also said, how dare that woman? Who does she think she is? She thinks she can come out all the way from the village and come to your marriage and demand what she wants. Don't do it for her. That would have been another level of fight. But her friend told her, go and do it. I'm sure she's not going to be here for too long. So she went, but the lady, she was not ready to cook on the coal pot. So she went and she bought food from the roadside somewhere and got the coal pot and the charcoal and pretended she cooked. So she put the charcoal and the coal pot somewhere so that just in case, she knew her mother-in-law, just in case her mother-in-law says, this food, I need evidence to show that you cooked on the coal pot, she can show it to her. And it's exactly what happened. The lady, when she called her mother-in-law, the food is ready, I made it on the coal pot, blah, blah, blah. The woman said, go and show me where the coal pot is. So she took the woman, went to show her. The woman was happy. She said, now you are my daughter-in-law. Hey, now you are my daughter. Okay, so she ate the food, and unfortunately, she had running stomach. She had running stomach. I watched the movie. I laughed. I said, this is stress relief. I've been doing the audios for the fast. I was so tired. I thought, you know what? Let me just go and watch something. I just laughed. So, my God, the woman her tummy was rumbling. I didn't watch the end of it. I think it was, they put a link if you want to watch it, you go on YouTube and continue. But I didn't have the time to do that. It was very funny. So these are some of the things. Sometimes they want to control. They come to the house. They want to control what you do, what you don't do. They want their own choice. I had a friend who, it was long ago. She told me that her sister-in-law, somebody said, to be frank, some mother-in-laws are annoying. Okay. So, and some mother-in-laws too are very lovely. Okay. The lady, her sister-in-law came to visit them. It's her house. You have come. They are watching TV. She has her favorite channel that she watch. The girl came. The girl wanted to change the channel to a channel that she wants. And she said, no, you can't do that. This is my favorite channel. This is what I watch in my house. If you want to change it, you can't change it. And it became a fight. So you see some of these things. You've gone to your sister-in-law's house. That's her house. You can't demand for what you want. So maybe you are watching me, you are a sister-in-law, or you are a brother-in-law. You go to your elder brother's wife's house, or you go to your sister's house. Your sister's house, and then you want to fight over things with her husband, or you want to fight over things with her wife. You can't do that. It is not acceptable. It is not acceptable. Okay? It is not acceptable. I have lived to see in-laws that we've grew up to see in-laws that are terrible. Terrible. In fact, you cover them, they uncover themselves. But still, we see the males trying to always cover them. Always. Sometimes when I speak to my sister, we say, hey, this man, he's doing well. He covers this woman, cover. But she will uncover herself and he will cover her again. Because he's not ready to give you an excuse to disrespect. And the lady said that she doesn't care who you are, where she can mess up like that. But the man is not going, if he say your wife is bad, the way he will talk about the wife, you cry, you will be scared to even say the wife is bad. But obviously, it is obvious that the wife is bad. So these are some of the things, and if you don't have that unity, if you just allow your sisters to come in anyhow, your brothers to come in anyhow, talk to your wife anyhow, it doesn't matter. Even if your wife is the most baddest, if there's a word like that, woman, if your husband is the worst man on earth, still don't give anybody an opportunity in the family to misbehave towards them. Okay, so you have those who will, they see you, and the funny thing is that when it comes to especially in-laws from the husband side, most of the time, it's always in-laws from the husband side that causes problems. There's a broadcast I did with my mentor some time ago, and it was about questions, dealing with the pressures of singleness. And we're talking about what do you do if maybe you've got a family compound, your father has a family house, you are getting married, and Instead of you going to rent out or buy your own property, you decide to come and live in your father's house because there are plenty of rooms and nobody's using them. And she was talking about the fact that, you know, your father's compound is his compound. You have to leave and also create your own. Okay. And she was talking about the fact that most of the time, the reason why, you know, we have the males have to leave. The Bible says you will leave your father and mother and be cleaved to the wife, and the two will become one flesh. Okay. It is always the male that is meant to leave. Okay. And the reason is because most of the time, the problems about in-law problems comes from the male side more than the female side. So that's why the Bible demands or suggests that the male should be the one to leave. And it's not like a physical leaving. You leave the house all right, but you know, it's more of emotional detachment and mental detachment in such a way that you don't become pulled by your family. Everything they say you do, everything they want you to do, you do. No, you have to cleave to your wife, and even though you still have to give some attention to your family, you cannot be married and still be controlled 100% by your family. It is not acceptable because those things break marriages. It breaks marriages. Okay. So when you observe them from their comments, you get to know the way they pick on things, some of the comments they make to you. You will get to know the kind of people they are, the way they behave when they see you. You'll get to know. And most of the time, the male side especially, when they see you looking so nice, you know, especially the woman, they see that you are driving, you've got married, you are driving, everything is going well, life is going well. They see you and or they see that, yeah, they think that it is their son. Most of the time, they think it is their son who is making you look amazing. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, marriage should make you better. Okay, it should make you better. So if it is your son that is making the person better, or it is your daughter-in-law that is making your son better, it doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, the two of them has now become one. But the issue is sometimes, especially in our the African part of the world, you now see that the family of the male side now want to behave some way towards the woman, thinking if it's not my brother, if it's not our son, if it's not this, you won't be that. But sometimes it's not like that. It is even the woman. Sometimes the woman earning more money than the male. Sometimes the woman running the house. Sometimes the woman is because of her wisdom, her knowledge, her skills, the gift that she has that is helping the man to become the way he is. You know, but they are not aware. And it's funny how mothers always think they know their children. They think they know their children. Oh, I know my son. I know my daughter. She's this, she's that. It could be true, but trust me, a wife knows things about the husband that a mother you don't know. The same thing, a husband knows things about the wife that you as the mother you don't know. Okay, and you will never know. And the reason is because children, we behave in a certain way towards our parents. We could tell. I had a lady, a Swalian, who got pregnant last year when we went for the event, and you know, she wanted to abort the pregnancy. Serious. The guy said, I'll marry you. Don't abort. She said, I want to abort. And so she decided she's going to speak to me. I'm the last decision. Whatever I tell her, she will do. So she called me. I said, you are having the baby. You're not aborting this. So she had a baby. They've got married. And she and her mother, they're like that. Her mother is the pastor. They're like that. The mother didn't know. The mother didn't know that she was pregnant, that she went and she was having a boyfriend and things were happening. She didn't know. So this woman would have been thinking, oh, I know my daughter. I know her. She's the best, a good girl. So when she told me, I said, okay, we now have to find a way to tell your mother so that, you know. So I said, tell her after a Sunday church service when she's in high spirits, I'll be on standby. If you want me to call her, I'll call her. So anyway, she took everything in very gently with her. They're married now. Okay, so mothers they will always think we know our child and blah blah. But if you're a mother-in-law, you are watching, please don't be quick to think. Or if you are a sister-in-law, a sibling, whatever. Okay, if you're an in-law, all of us, I'm talking to all of us. If you see the wife flourishing, don't be quick to think it's because of the male. It could be. It could also be the opposite. Okay, if you see maybe your daughter had a lot of money before they got married, and because of that you think your son-in-law is doing well because of your daughter, it may not be true. Your daughter may have even lost her job, but she never told you. Because it's not everything that happens in the marriage that they are going to tell you. There are things that we've never shared. We've never shared. Apart from those of you who follow this broadcast and I've shared some personal stuff that makes you think you kind of get a gist of what happens in my marriage. We don't share these things. I don't sit anybody down and say, oh, you know what, this thing happened. Oh, that thing. No. So you will not know everything. They may be sick. You are not even aware they are sick because they've decided not to tell you. You may not know. Okay. So let's have a positive mindset. Let's be supportive of our in-laws because we are all in-laws. I think that's one of the things I wanted to run throughout this program, that we are all in-laws. You are somebody's in-law, I'm somebody's in-law. Okay, now to help you to observe, you have to keep a little bit of distance. Keep a good distance to help you to observe. Because if you are always in the face of the people, you are always on the phone, every day you're on the phone. Every day you are in the person's house, every day they are in your house. I'm talking about in-laws here. It is very difficult for you to see because you are now becoming very close. Okay, so there are certain things that you can't even observe, and your emotions also get into the way. So even when you see something that is not right, it's not really okay. So you've got to observe by giving a bit of distance, and through your observations, you'll be able to know whether your in-laws are controlling, whether they like to interfere in your affairs. There are some people that will always anything, they want to poke their nose into it. They come, they see that there's a new TV in your house. Hey, this TV, so how much did you buy it? Where did you buy it from? Where did you buy it from? How much did you buy it? And I was talking to somebody, it's not an in-law. I was talking to somebody, the person was asking me, oh, so where do you guys live? And I told the person, and he said, oh, which road? Are you by the roadside? And I said, yes. I said, oh, are you on the story building? How many floors? I said the floors. I said, which floor number? And I said, why? I was answering and I got to a point. I said, why? Why do you want to know all this? Why? I said, you don't need to know all this. Wait. When we invite you one day, you can come and see which floor we are. What is that? So when I finished, I was like, my goodness, the person she's blowing my mind. Because I can't believe that they will ask all those questions. And there are some in-laws like that. They will ask you, to the extent they will ask you what happens in the bedroom. Okay, so once you start observing these things, you start putting your strategies in place to know how to handle them. Because when you start entertaining this, they're asking you everything, you are telling them everything. So how often do you go to your shopping? How often do you do your hair? How many panties do you have? How many times do you have sex? How many times does your husband give you money? How many times do you send money to your family? How many times do you do this? What do you do that? Then you know this person is an interference person. Okay, so you start taking notes from their comments, from their behavior. You start taking notes. And especially when they start wanting to control you. They tell you what to do. Don't do this. Don't do this one. Next time do this, do that. Don't do that, don't do that. Then you know this person is controlling. Yeah? And then sometimes too, especially when you can see that the way they are behaving is beginning to affect you negatively, you keep your distance. Okay, so from your observation, that is when you make your decision whether you are going to be body. Because trust me, there's some in-laws, they are good. In fact, you can eat with them, you do everything with them, and they are fine. I've got friends, there's a lady, I think the lady that did our cake for us. When she talks about her mother-in-law, even my own sister, She and the mother-in-law, when she was traveling to go somewhere, and she was like, the mother-in-law was saying, oh, she's going to leave me here. She wanted to cry. And I said, hey, interesting. She and the mother-in-law, they are like, okay, it works for them. That's fine. But yours may not work for you. So you have to make your decision based on the way the person is. I mean, the way my sister's mother-in-law is, if you go and even want to do her trouble, cause trouble for her, you yourself cry, God will punish you. God will punish you. You know, my sister was telling me one day, she said she got so scared because she was, the lady came to stay in their house for a bit. She wasn't feeling well. So she came to stay in their house a bit, and my sister realized that she wasn't eating properly. When she gives her food, she would just eat a little bit. So one day she got upset. She said, why are you doing that? Why are you not eating the food? You know, we give you food, we put in effort to give you food, and then you just eat small, you leave it. What is that? Why? Are you scared? She said the woman started crying. So when the woman started crying, she thought that because she raised her voice a bit, she disrespected the woman. So maybe that's why the woman is crying. So she thought she was in trouble. And then the woman finished crying and started thanking her. Oh, I think she was just scared because, you know, mother-in-laws are also scared of daughter-in-laws. So the same way we also have issues. We think, you know, mother-in-laws are tigers. Mother-in-laws are also thinking daughter-in-laws are tigers. So the woman came to the house. She was thinking she's one of those daughter-in-laws. So she was tiptoeing. It's like she was walking on eggshells. So when she now realized that my sister is not like that, she was overwhelmed. She started crying. Yeah. So it's both ways. It's both ways. Yeah. So you will get to know the way they behave towards you, their reactions, their actions, their words. You get to know, is this the person that I have to be very careful about? Or is it the person that I can just relax and play with and talk to anytime that I want? Okay? So once you notice that they are good, yeah, they are not trying to interfere, they are not trying to stir up any, because there are some people, immediately they enter your home, the atmosphere changes. You realize that maybe the peace that you had, it has been disturbed. Those kind of people, you've got to be very careful. But if you realize that the in-law is fostering peace, is fostering joy in your marriage, is fostering the progress of your marriage, they are always happy for you, then you have to now decide, okay, this is the kind of person that I can relate to on a daily basis or once in a while without feeling intimidated. Okay, so you make your decisions through that. And if you think that they are the type that will cause issues for you, then you keep that distance. Keep the distance. Keep the distance. Because I put here there are some in-laws that are good, and in fact they can take you as their biological children and even treat you better than your own biological parent. Some in-laws are like that. What they can do for you, your own father can do for you, your own mother cannot do for you. However, please, no matter how good they are to you, do not forget that they are still not your biological parents. And I'm saying this, some people will feel, oh, don't say that. It is true. Your in-laws can take you as their daughter. They can help you. But always remember, they are not your biological parents. So there are certain things that you cannot say to them or do to them and think you go scot-free. Okay. There are things that you can say to your mother. If I'm angry with my mother right now, oh, I've not done that to her before, but I'm just going to use just for example's sake, yeah? If maybe you are having an argument or your mother says, I'm so mad, mom, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. Maybe you've got that kind of relationship with your mother whereby you can tell her to shut up and you will all laugh. And if you tell your mother-in-law, shut up, you are not going to get it easy like the way you get it with your mother. Even though she may love you and treat you even better than your mother. I don't know if it makes sense. Please type something. Let me make sure that I'm making sense. There are some things you can say to your sisters. You can't say it to your sister-in-law and go scot-free. Because there's a way they take things. You know, somebody said to us some time ago that most of the time, you will understand that these people are your in-laws when there are issues. There are some people, it is when issues comes up, that's when you will know that they are not as nice as you think they are. Okay. So we need to be very careful. They may love you, they may do everything for you, but don't get too familiar. don't get too comfortable to the extent that you start now using words and saying anything and behaving anyhow towards them and think that they will be fine with it, because this is how things begin to go wrong. Because you get so comfortable, you now use a word and then it triggers something, and then this issue starts. So even though you observe and you realize that they've got your good at heart, also be careful. Be careful the way you choose your words, the way you behave towards them. Remember that they are not your blood. There's something that they say that blood is thicker than water. There are certain things your mother will tolerate, your father will tolerate, your sisters will tolerate that your brother-in-laws or mother-in-laws or your sister-in-law or father-in-law will not tolerate. Okay, so be mindful. Don't lose that sense of respect because you are body-body with your mother-in-law or body-body with your father-in-law. Don't lose that sense of respect. Okay, and then, so that's the number 4. I've actually jumped. Okay, so number 5, no matter your relationship with your in-laws, because sometimes you realize that your in-laws just don't like you. They just don't like you. It doesn't matter what you do. They want to break the marriage. You've realized that. Both of you probably have even realized. Your husband knows my family don't like you. Your wife knows my family don't like you. You both know that. But still, if you, the lady, or you, the male, you don't want to relate to them because of what you think about them or what you've seen them do, and you think they are very dangerous, they are toxic to your marriage, they are toxic to your relationship, they are toxic to you, and so you want to keep away from them, that is fine. But don't stop their child from relating to them. Because there are some people who will say, I don't like your mother. I don't like your mother. I don't want you to call your mother. That's not right. That's not right. If you can't call them, he should call. He should call. My sister-in-law is calling me. That's interesting. Okay, so you let him call. Okay, because that's his family. Let her call. That's her family. Okay. One of the things I do is I check my husband's phone. I check his phone. I check to see how often he speaks to his family. Okay. So sometimes he doesn't know this. I'm sure when he watch this video, he will understand. Sometimes I ask him, when I check, I realize that they've just spoken during that week, or sometimes like 2 weeks, I've not seen any history. So I'll ask, how is mommy? How is mommy doing? It's just to alert him that he hasn't spoken to the mother. And so when I ask, how is mommy doing? Have you spoken? When was the last time you spoke to mommy? Then he will say, oh, it's been 2 weeks or it's been a week ago. And I said, oh, okay. I don't say anything. That already reminds him that he has to speak to the mother. Okay. And sometimes I do the same. I realize that he speaks to his sister more. Okay. So sometimes I see a lot of calls, but especially with the mother, I think daddies are okay. Daddies are fine. He will normally send a lot of WhatsApp messages and all of that. So I check and then I make sure that he's in touch with them. I may not be in touch with them frequently, but it doesn't mean that he shouldn't be in touch with them frequently. I call them when I can call them. They call me when they can call me. I just had a missed call now. Okay, so it's that kind of thing. Have that flexibility whereby you are yourself. It shouldn't be compulsory. It's like a rule. Don't make it a rule. Once you make it a rule, it means that you have to force yourself to obey it. It shouldn't be a law. Okay. Now, let me go back to my notes. Yeah. So allow them to call their families is fine. Unless if both of you have come to the place whereby you think, okay, maybe even if he or she gets involved with their family, is going to affect the marriage, then you can have a good distance. You can call them once in a while, maybe once every 3 months, once every year. I've got a guy, one of the videos I did, I think some of the videos I've done, I've talked about in-laws, but briefly. And he commented and he said, she doesn't, I think I said that I've got a number of I've got a timeline that I'm supposed to, I've decided to make calls. And he said that, oh, as for him, his mother-in-law, he calls his mother-in-law once every year on her birthday. And I was like, wow, once a whole year. Why? How is your wife taking this? And he said to me, she's even lucky. She's even lucky I call her once a year. So what? How is your wife taking this? And she didn't respond. He didn't respond again. So wow. Okay, so if it's both of you, your decision, and you are both fine, because you think that maybe the more you call, the more issues are happening, then you got to decide. You always have to weigh the situation. It shouldn't be a complete no, a complete yes, because you've heard somebody's story and you think the same thing will happen to you. The same thing might not happen to you because you are different. Okay? Okay. Let me go to my last slide. Okay, so there was a question that came in. It said, after marriage, must our in-laws know everything about the marriage concerning any plan which the couple will decide at home? No, they must not. My battery is running low. They must not. They should not. They should not. You don't have to tell them everything. We definitely don't. Okay, don't tell them everything. Yeah. Keep things to yourself unless it's a matter of life and death. Apart from that, keep things to yourself. Okay. And then the last one is unity. When you are both united, okay, your family will know. They know. They know when you are united. They know when you are not united. And the way they will know is when issues happen, whose side you are backing. If you are always backing your family already know the two of them are not together. They are not united. So they can easily come up with things and know that those things will break you guys. Those things will cause you to fight. They can easily get their way around because anytime issues happen, your wife is out of the way. You're just backing them. The same way, the woman, you are backing your family. So very soon they start disrespecting your husband. They start disrespecting your marriage because the two of you are not together. So for you to be able to deal with in-law stuff, you need to be united as a couple. You need to be united to deal with it. But make sure you have one voice. You have one decision. You decide how you want to relate to in-laws. How often do you want them to come to the house? Okay. How often do you want them to come? If they are coming, are they coming by themselves or you are inviting them? Since we got married, we've not invited anybody to our house. No friends, no family, nobody. I know this will sound like, hey, nobody. And it's not even that we've decided that somebody shouldn't know. It's just our schedule has not allowed us to invite anybody. So 10 months, it's been us. It's been us. We've had people who are trying to push themselves, push, give us the address. We need to go. No pressure. You tell us, oh, invite us, give us your address. It's okay. Okay, I won't send it. Come to my house and collect the address. I'm not going to send it. So don't put any pressure. No pressure. When we are ready and we think, okay, this is the right time, we want to invite people. Definitely we'll invite people. We can't live here forever without inviting anybody. But sometimes you make your decisions, people want to break the decision. They want to force themselves into it. But as a couple, you have to be united. The two of you have to be united and decide, this is our decision. When we are ready, we will do it. Okay? Don't let anybody force you to break your decision or do something that will not favor the two of you. It has to be convenient for the two of you. Whether it is you or whatever, it has to be convenient. So don't be rude about it. Learn how to say no. My mother taught me something. She said, okay, doesn't bring cassava from the farm. When somebody is going to the market, somebody is going to the farm and you say, when you are coming, bring me cassava, and they say, okay. My mother said, it doesn't mean they will bring you the cassava. And this thing, it has really helped me. Sometimes people are saying something. I say, okay, it doesn't mean I'm going to do it. Give me your address. Give me by fire, by force. You don't want me to come to your house? I didn't say I don't want you to come to my house. We're just not ready. Just not ready. When we are ready, we will invite you. Okay, so let people, and I'm saying this to all of us as in-laws, give your in-laws the opportunity to honor you. Give them the chance to honor you. Don't push things on them. Let them honor you by inviting you to their house, by giving you money, by giving you a gift. Don't demand for it. You know, don't say, you are my son-in-law. It was my birthday. You didn't buy me a car. You didn't buy me this. You have to do this for me because I'm now, it's my birthday now. You have to do this for me. It's Christmas. You have to buy this for me. No, leave them to honor you because you don't know their situation. They may not even have money. You don't know. Okay, so allow them to honor you at the right time. In that way, they give you more respect. So don't demand anything, don't push anything. And if you're a couple, don't allow anybody to demand. Know your place and stay there. Okay, there are things that you should not get involved with when it comes to in-laws. If there's a problem from the husband's side, husband, deal with it. If there's a problem from the wife's side, wife, deal with it. This will prevent anything that will lead to friction between you and your in-laws. Then I've got some questions here that we all need to understand that we are all in-laws. So how you would like to be treated in your marriage, treat others that way. Okay. There was a lady, let me make sure my battery is not, okay. There's a lady who was saying that, no, it was a guy, a man, they've been married for years now. And he said that his mother, there are things that when they were growing up, his mother will not tolerate from her own in-laws. She will not tolerate those nonsense from her own in-laws. And they were brought up like that, knowing that they were a close-knit family. Only for him to get married, and the very things her mother did not tolerate in her marriage, she want to do them in his marriage. She would just wake up one day, I'm coming from Nigeria, I want to come and visit you. I'm coming to live with you and your daughter. And he said, you can't come because we are not ready for you. We didn't invite you. You can't come. Stay there and take care of your husband. And it was an issue. And he said, Mom, you raised us up. We saw you do these things to your own in-laws. What makes you think you can do them in my marriage? What you did not tolerate. Why do you want to do it in somebody else's marriage? So some of us in-laws, we do not tolerate our sister-in-laws insulting us, but we want to insult our sister-in-laws. We do not want our brother-in-laws to walk into our house and enter our kitchen and start eating anything just like that. And yet we go into their house and we want to do anything like that. It is not acceptable. So what you do not accept, do not do it to somebody else. So the question is, how would you like someone to treat your daughter in her marriage? If you are a mother, if you are a father, okay. How would you like someone to treat your sister or brother in her marriage? How would you like someone to treat your mother or your father in their marriage? Okay. How would you like to be treated in your own marriage? How would you like to be treated when you become a mother or a father-in-law in future? The same way that you would like to be treated, or you would like your children, your sisters, your brothers to be treated, treat your current in-laws the same way. Because we are all in-laws. Okay? So, this is how I will leave and end this topic. Please remember you are an in-law. So behave yourself so that your in-laws will also behave themselves towards you and in your future marriage. God bless you. My battery is very low now, so I'm going to love and leave you. Please, share the broadcast with your friends. Share the broadcast with your friends and leave your comment. I want questions to treat in the next 2 broadcasts. So if you've got any questions about marriage, about in-laws, about sex, about finances, about any of the topics I've treated so far, please send them to me on WhatsApp. My number is on the Facebook page, or you can leave it in the comment or send me a message in the inbox and I'll respond to you. God bless you. Have a wonderful week. Take care. Bye.